Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Great Black Speakers Podcast, where we connect through conversation. I am your host, Lawrence Watkins. I am the founder and CEO of Great Black Speakers Bureau. I'm also the president and chief operating officer of the Black Business School. And today we have a very special guest. We are here with Ashley N. Company. Ashley is the CEO of Jelani Women Travel, an experience-based travel company for Black women to vacation with a purpose in Africa. They regularly visit 13 countries, including Ghana, Morocco, South Africa, Egypt, and Zanzibar. And you can find out more about Ashley and her company at jelaniwomen.org, Jelani women.org. So, Ashley, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. So, can you just tell us a little bit more about Jelani Women and how did you get this point in your career actually running this company?
Sure. So I'm a social entrepreneur who's traveled more than half the world at 100 countries. And my job is to help Black women and girls reimagine their greatness through African inspired accessories and epic vacations with purpose in Africa. And so the way that I got started was traveling myself. And once I had that experience, being kind of third generation military, so we already were traveling in a young age. But the moment I stepped foot on the continent, after I left my corporate career at Pepsi, I knew that I had to start something to help more people have that experience. Because when I was out there about 8 years ago, I didn't see a lot of Black people traveling, and certainly not to Africa. And so I just kind of started off with girls. So we have a charitable arm called Jelani Girls as a cultural enrichment program for them to have that experience. And then I saw an opportunity to really help fund this charity by creating an organization for adult women, empower Black women to have a vacation. And that really took off. So essentially, we've just kind of been going forward ever since with both women and girls. And we also do private trips for anybody who wants to experience Africa.
Cool. So, what was it like growing up as an army brat, and how has that, I guess, helped you, or military brat, excuse me, and how has that helped you with Jelani Women Travel?
Well, you actually had it right. So it was Army. My
Okay.
grandparents were Air Force, and then my mom was in the Army. And then I actually served 8 years in the Army Reserve as a captain. So that experience was certainly one that helped with becoming more adaptable to my environment, which has been very useful in different scenarios throughout my matriculation through college as well as adulthood. So it's been very informative and important in the role that it's played in my life with building a travel company, but also just being comfortable to travel the world, as most of the countries that I've gone to, I did by myself.
Now, did you have entrepreneurs in your family as well, or were you, I guess, the first full-time entrepreneur to come out of the company family?
I actually am the first one. I was the first to graduate from college. So everybody was more military based as their trajectory or their career, and they're retired now. And so when I went to school, I got more of I guess, like an awareness around entrepreneurship. And I went to work for Pepsi, but after, getting that leadership experience there, I decided it was time to close that chapter and try to create something on my own. So I was a first, but luckily I've been able to influence my family. And now my mother is also an entrepreneur.
So, a lot of our audience members, I guess many of them feel like they're alone on the island, and they have to be the trailblazers for their family as well. Whether it be, a college degree, it could be, getting that first great corporate job, and it can also be, I guess, entrepreneurship as well. And it seems like you're the trailblazer in your family as it relates to, I guess, your educational accomplishments, and then also running a successful six-figure business in the travel industry. So talk about that a little bit more in terms of, what is it like being the trailblazer of your family in terms of like, what are the best things about it and what are the things that, you struggle with, in that position?
Yeah, sure. So, I do believe that I have set a trail ablaze, as my mom would say, and I've been very proud to do that. But I haven't really felt a burden, as I've sometimes heard some of my peers say, because they have been so supportive. I wouldn't be in the position I was if they weren't helping me. Luckily, when I really dove into this entrepreneurial, track, they were retired, so they actually have been wildly instrumental in supporting me, giving me some of that free support, and using their 20 years of logistical experience to kind of pour into my company, as well as the love and just the dedicated time. So the experience for me has been really, really positive, and I'm just really grateful for them. But it also makes me really proud to know that I've done something that they haven't been able to accomplish, and just seeing the pride that they have in me.
Let's talk a little bit about corporate versus entrepreneurship. So, talk about why you made that leap to starting your own business. And was there like a moment or a time that you knew it's like, yeah, my time at Pepsi's done. I think it's time for me to do something else on my own.
Yeah, absolutely. I certainly plan. And actually, some people, that have had a few interviews where they have kind of coined me as very brave and courageous. And while I accept that, I receive it, and thank you. I I always tell people I did not go the starving artist route. I didn't just quit everything with $15 in my pocket and jump into California and try to make it, right? I actually, which that's one route, and people have done great with that, but that wasn't my story. I really planned and really prepared. And, my first, before I built the framework for my company, I left Pepsi and I traveled for a year, starting in Mexico, working my way down to Argentina, so all of Central America, most of South America, and then landed in East Africa. And during that experience, before I left, I actually spent a year teaching myself Spanish while I was still at Pepsi. And I also spent a year aggressively saving to make sure that I felt comfortable, and also spent a lot of time making sure I didn't allow people to project their fears onto me, and continuously question, why would I leave a comfortable position? Why, things like that. And so it took a lot of different aspects to stay focused on in order for me to make that move. But I knew when the time was right, specifically because I had enough experience to go to business school. That was my main goal. I'm a planner, so I knew even going into the job at Pepsi that I needed a certain amount of time to go to business school. The difference was, I said I was going to take a year off and travel and then go to business school and have somebody teach me how to create a nonprofit, how to create a thriving business. The difference was, during that year of travel, it was so transformational, academically, personally, professionally. I was so profoundly moved by what I experienced that I knew that the time was now, and I was just going to have to figure it out as I go. And 8 years later, that's what I've been doing ever since. So I knew that the time was right. I thought it was for one path, but as I went down my journey, things kind of turned, and I'm just grateful.
So that's interesting. So you're actually on the, I guess, business school track, much more than, I guess, the entrepreneurial track. Is that correct?
No, so I was. That was my plan. When I graduated from Hampton University and went to work for Pepsi, it was specifically so that I could get
Mm,
that leadership experience and then be competitive for business school. But in the time in between quitting and getting ready for business school, I took a year to travel. When
yeah,
I traveled for that year, I completely changed my mind about
got
wanting
it.
to
So
go
that
to
was the
business school. Yeah, because I
got
literally
it. Cool.
started the company. So now, in theory, if I do decide to go back, it would be an executive track because I already have the experience.
Right. So yeah, I mean that's excellent. I wish I kind of would have skipped the business school track sometimes. Like some things I loved about it, but then others, it was a lot of debt. And given what I do now, it's not completely relevant, except that it did open up, I guess, networks and doors that probably wouldn't have been opened up to me otherwise. But back to your story in terms of just starting the company and leaving Pepsi, and you were talking about projecting the projection of other people's fears onto yourself. What were the fears that you actually had, or did you have any, or did you feel just so well prepared, like this thing is just going to work?
I really felt really prepared because I've always been the type of person that has a plan A through Z, literally. I always have a backup for a backup for a backup. And so even when I left, I really did a really great job, especially the last year at Pepsi, where I felt that comfortable that I could go back if I needed to. And then I also, at that time, I was still a part of the Army Reserve. So I also knew that there would be an opportunity for me to maybe take a full-time position in the Army if I really wanted to. So I felt like I had a bit of a cushion. You know, like I said, I had saved a ton aggressively. So I really wasn't as fearful. The only times I did find myself kind of doubting myself, like, should I do it now? Should I push it back another 6 months? Was when I started sharing with people and their response was, you be crazy. I would never do that. Are you sure? It's going to be so dangerous when you travel. Anything can happen to you. And, you know, it was literally what they were saying. And once I like shut those voices out, I honestly didn't have any internalized fear.
So, preparation seemed to be the key in that particular
Yes.
case, and shutting out, I guess, the noise of others who, weren't really believers in terms of your vision, and they didn't know what you actually knew in terms of the direction that you wanted your life to go. So, talk about more specifically some of the things that you actually did to prepare. I know you said like learn Spanish, and you had some other things like in the preparation space, but I mean, from I guess from a financial cushion perspective, or like just the things that people are afraid about that that they usually don't do, or they're afraid to do if they want to take that leap to entrepreneurship. So what were some of those things, like I guess financially, business wise, that you did to prepare for that leap to entrepreneurship?
Absolutely. One of the key things was I'm probably one of my superpowers, probably one of my main superpowers is personal finance and personal financial management. And so essentially, it really just boiled down to I, anytime I got a raise or a promotion, I still was spending at the same level as when I first came into the company. And so when it came time, so I was already saving a great deal just generally. But then once I realized, okay, I'm about a year out and I need to start getting aggressive, I was even more aggressive. And then just my personal lifestyle, what I like to do with my money is to travel. So I didn't spend a lot on, certain type of name brands or extravagant items. And I think that really helped with my savings and just really creating a pool to feel very comfortable. And then one of the other things I think was really important was that I didn't buy like a lot of my peers, because we came in as a class, as a corporate college hire program, and most people felt, now that we're having all this money that we've ever seen before, let's get the car, let's maybe even get the house because that seems like the right thing to do. And I didn't do any of those things. I kept driving the car that I had since high school. And so all of those things I think really just set me up, because my mindset, even when I was getting promoted, I still acted the same way. And then with that pool of money, what I found is when I went overseas, things are way, way cheaper than in the US. Like the US dollar goes a long way. So that even allowed me to continue to do more.
All right, everybody, we're here with Ashley in company. Ashley is the CEO of Jelani Women Travel, an experience-based travel company for Black women to vacation with a purpose in Africa. They regularly visited 13 countries, including Ghana, Morocco, South Africa, Egypt, and Zanzibar. And you can find out more about her company at jelaniwomen.org. That's Jelani, Jelani, women.org. If you all like what Jelani is talking about today, please go ahead and press the thumbs up button. Show us some love so YouTube can show us some love as well. Please make sure that you share this video and also subscribe to the Black Financial channel for more content like we're producing today with Ashley. And make sure you check out her website too. If you are a Black woman and you want to travel and travel with a purpose, please check out Ashley's company as well. Ashley, let's get into Jelani Travel a little bit more. So talk about, you told me in that one sentence your main value proposition, but expand upon your main value proposition, to Black women in terms of why they should be traveling with you. And then talk about some of your early, clients or early, people that you went traveling with, and, why did they come on board?
Yeah, sure. So, Jelani Women Travel is leading in this experience-based travel, specifically in the area of service. So we dedicate one of our days of vacation to a day of service with young people in the different locales that we travel. And we believe that that really sets us apart from a lot of similar companies where you can have a great time, but then we want you to also, you have a great time, fun. We do all of the things from the rooftops to nature. But that one day is really special in a way to connect and really have an impact. And I think that really binds the women it really bonds them in a way where there's a sisterhood almost immediately, because the women who are coming are always service minded and just have a heart ready to serve. So there's just the experience and the community that they build with each other when they're there, I think sets them apart. And I think that's why we see so much success in our trips that come after that, because a lot of them are always returning, but bringing their sisters, their mothers, their friends each time. And the relationships have been so amazing from the beginning, where there's women who refuse to travel on another trip without the person that they met on the trip. In the first trip that they went on, like there was these two women, one was from Chicago, one was from New York. They never knew each other, but then when they showed up in South Africa, they ended up being paired together as roommates. And they literally the next year went to Morocco together. The next year after that went to Kenya together. And they're already signed up for Egypt. So you see things like that all the time because the community is so powerful. We've had women who now didn't know each other in the beginning, but now they do business together. We've had women drive down from one part of the state to another state to deliver baby clothes. I mean, the relationships, I think, is really what sets us apart. And I think that the relationship and that bond is formed through our day of service.
Got it. I mean, I think that's amazing in terms of, I guess, serving and giving back. Where did that need for you, I guess, come from? Because, you were in the Army Reserves, so it seems like services is something that has been innate with you, right? Or, your parents served in the military, or your mother served in the military. You served in the Army Reserves, and now you have this service organization with Jelani Girls, and then we're gonna get into the business model in terms of how Jelani Women fits into that. But now you have this day of service with Jelani Women in terms of your trips. So talk about that more in terms of where this innate desire to serve, actually came from, with you.
Yeah, I mean, just hearing you talk, I'm thinking the military probably really did have an impact on that, because it's just been something that's been something I've been fond of since I've been young. I remember feeling sometimes helpless on what I can do to support the world, and how can I make the world a better place just as a young child. And then going into high school, having volunteer opportunities offered to me. I remember going on Thanksgiving to feed the homeless and really finding a lot of joy from that. And once in college, there were way more opportunities to get involved in different service organizations. I became the president of the NAACP chapter at my university. And so it's just literally been something that's always been something that just brings me joy. And so once I realized that there was a way to monetize it so that I can sustain and create more impact for myself, my family, and so many others, it was just like a no-brainer to me. I was like, even when I first learned of the term social entrepreneur, I knew immediately. I was like, that's me. So it's just been something that's always been a part of me.
Yeah, actually, you mentioned HBCU too. So talk about how, like your experience at Hampton has influenced you as it relates to just entrepreneurship and what you're doing now.
I think the biggest influence I've received from Hampton University is the relationships. Um, I was introduced to entrepreneurship in some ways because some of my friends, their parents were entrepreneurs. And so just hearing some of their stories, so I was slightly introduced to it at Hampton. I was more focused on a track of, trying to find that corporate job while I was at Hampton. They definitely helped prepare me for that. But once I sought out and did it and really became the entrepreneur and started that company, the first people that you're going to reach out to is your network. And at that age, your network is going to be your alumni, especially at HBCUs. And so Hampton has been wildly instrumental in supporting me from as it relates to the relationships and classmates. Like I said, we started Jelani Girls first, and so as a nonprofit, there was a huge fundraising campaign, and of course, I reached out to them first. And when you start a nonprofit, you actually have to form a board of directors, and it literally, when you do the paperwork, it has to be somebody you can't just pick anybody. So everybody was on the board was a Hamptonian. So yeah, HBCUs, Hampton University definitely played a major role. Every year when I go back for homecoming, I've received awards from them. I was in the inaugural class of the 40 Under 40 Society, and all of those things is because they were recognizing the work that I did and wanting to support it.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. And, we're proponents of HBCUs in many ways, with, the Black Business School. And a lot of people I interview talk about, I guess, is how instrumental their college experience was at HBCU in terms of them moving forward in business in some form or fashion. So I just wanted to kind of get your take on that. And, getting back to the Jelani company and Jelani Women, Jelani Women and Jelani Girls, let's talk about, I guess, Africa a little bit more. So why did you choose to focus in on specifically the continent of Africa, for Black women to travel to? And then what is your favorite thing about, your travels and your trips that you take to different parts of the continent of Africa?
I chose Africa because it is, I've been to over 100 countries. 20 of them have been in Africa. What I know is while world travel is, really incredible, I've seen some incredible things. What I know for sure is that Africa is the best place to be. And I just really felt like I couldn't experience that for myself. There's so many things. We have a hashtag called Reimagine Africa, where I'm just trying to get people to see the amazing beaches that you find in the Caribbean, you can find in Africa, the great, like the Eiffel Tower or the Statue of Liberty, these great monuments. You can find the Renaissance Monument in Senegal. And there's everything that you're looking for, major cityscapes, all of it's there. It has everything that we need. And so I just think, while we can go to these other places and have a great time, we should not forget about Africa travel. And so I knew that I could sell out trips to Thailand and Bali really quickly, or Italy, but it was really important for me and my community that they see and experience and reimagine Africa, because I believe, and I told this to Essence in 2016, and I still believe it to this day. I believe that when we change the way that we see Africa, we change the way that we see ourselves. And so I am committed to only focusing on Africa and promoting Africa trips in complete excellence, as opposed to stretching out and doing different locales that would remove some of my focus. And
All
you
right,
asked
everyone.
else. There was a second question, I think.
What is your favorite thing about traveling to Africa?
Oh, my favorite thing about
But
traveling is just amazing. I guess I did touch that.
yeah, Master, yeah. But no, so we're here with Ashley and Company. Ashley is the CEO of Jelani Women Travel, an experience-based travel company for Black women to vacation with a purpose in Africa. They regularly visit 13 countries, including Ghana, Morocco, South Africa, Egypt, and Zanzibar. And you can find out more about her company at jelaniwomen.org. That's Jelani, Jelani, women.org. Oh, so Jelani, or it's not Jelani, Ashley says she needs to run and get her charger real quick. I think her computer's about to die. But this would be a good time just to talk about the Black Business School. So if you all want to see Jelani actually teach a course in the Black Business School about travel, about getting into the travel industry, that type of thing, please let us know in chat. We're always looking for instructors, for the Black Business School. And if you would like to see her as an instructor, we will do our best to make it happen if that's something that you all want to do, as well. So it looks like Jelani's back, or not Jelani. I keep going to call you Jelani.
Everybody does, and I'm like, it's fine. If
yeah.
you call me Jelani, I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
My
Ashley,
name is crazy because I already have a last name Company. People don't know what to do.
Yeah, right. Yeah. that is 100% true. But yeah. So in this last segment, please make sure that you like this video, share, and subscribe as well, if you haven't done so. So in this segment, I kind of want to go through, I guess, your business structure in terms of, I guess, how the nonprofit arm and the for-profit arm I guess, interact with each other and just how your company is set up from a business model perspective. So
Mhm.
can you talk about that a little bit in terms of like you're a six-figure company, so you know really successful, but how does all that fit in terms of like a business model?
Yeah, sure. So I started Jelani Girls first in 2013, and it was you form as an LLC first, and then you create you file for your 501c3 status. So we are a 501c3, nonprofit organization, and then I created Jelani Women as initially a fundraiser under Jelani Girls, but then as it grew, as it really took off, and like I said, the second year became six figures, we had to form a proper company and funnel the money directly back to Jelani Girls. And so Jelani Women is also an LLC, but without the 501c3 status. And actually, as we're moving forward, because we've had to pivot during this COVID time, we've actually created a lot of African inspired products. There were actually things that we already were doing, but we're amplifying it now. We want everybody to know. I used to only sell our Crown by Jelani head wraps to corporations for private events that I would do. It's kind of an empowerment session that is aligned with a head wrap, but now we actually have it out for the public. We have a coloring book that's been a #1 Amazon bestseller called Travelish, or Travelish Black Women Around the World. And so we have some different things going on. So we're actually looking at forming a benefit corporation. And I think, if people are just interested in what a model could look like, I think that is something important to consider, because it creates more opportunities for you to have a socially impactful company and to be able to receive benefits from investors, as well as donations if they do want to come in. So that's how we're set up.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit more in terms of your pivot in COVID, right? So, if that was your only stream of income, you would have went from a six-figure company to zero in the
Absolutely.
matter of, a matter of a few months, right? And talk about like the stresses or the challenges of that pivot, and then what has it taught, you know, I guess, what has this, I guess, COVID situation taught you about business?
Um, I think that what it's taught me most is, and it's something that people say all the time, just from like a personal standpoint, but it couldn't be more true. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And even when you think that you're ready, because we thought we had a lot of things in place, we were not thinking about a global pandemic completely shutting down travel. So that is I guess, one of the tough lessons that we've learned. One of the things that has really kept us is that sound financial, personal finance management that I had. I brought it into my company. And so even the way that we spend, the way we reinvest, the way that we just operate, we're really good stewards of the money, especially as it relates to starting with our charity first. Like, that's a really important aspect of being a nonprofit. And so that has actually helped us, even though we're not traveling, we weren't able to scale in the way that we wanted to. We also are not in the red. We also are not about to close, and we're still taking care of business. But so that, I think that has been a lifesaver, because I've actually seen some travel companies literally close, and I've seen some unethical practices on how they've treated customers who've already paid and things like that. And so that's just something that is a core part of our values that we would just never do. And we've always just been in preparation of making sure that we only spending what is actually ours. So and I've just always been like that. Even with my credit card, I spend it like a debit card, but then I pay it immediately, so that I don't have a lot of debt sometimes. So that's kind of the approach that we've taken with the companies. And the pivot is essentially, what we do is create and really champion community between Black women, community between African Americans and Africans, just the African diaspora. And so that will never change. We're always going to be inspired from Africa, whether we're physically traveling in this moment or not. And that's why it was so easy to push forward to our community different African inspired accessories, such as our head wrap or our coloring book, some of our virtual experiences, and things of that nature.
So that's a good lead into my next question. I guess the last question of this segment is what's coming up next? And I guess what is your grand vision for Jelani Women and Jelani Girls?
What's coming up next is we're recognizing that travel in 2020 is obviously something that we haven't done a lot of, but typically our trips sell out between 3 to 5 weeks from the day that they're announced, and it's always announced the year prior. So what's coming up next is there's still an opportunity for travel in 2021. So regardless, travel might look different for us all. We can't predict the future, but we know that travel will come back. Travel will be here. We will thrive in travel, because probably now more than ever, because a lot of people are wanting to reconnect back to Africa and really want that experience. And so what's coming up next is just people having the opportunity to sign up for 2021 trips. And of course, more partnerships. We really want, so that's why I'm also really grateful that you would invite me on your channel, because we really want to get in front of more people. One thing that we know is that when women come on our trip, that 90% are repeats. And that percentage that are not repeats, there's things that come up. They got engaged, they got pregnant, there are different things going on. And so we know that we have a really solid product, but we need to get it out in front of more people. We want more Black people to know that we exist for them and that we're here to serve them.
All right. Well, we have about 40 people watching right now, so hopefully a couple thousand will watch it by through the lifetime, I guess, of this video as well. So hopefully, we drive a little bit of traffic to Jelani Women, so that more people can experience the same thing that many people in your community have experienced before as well. And as a reminder, everybody, I'm here with Ashley in company of JelaniWomen.org, CEO of Jelani Women, an experience-based travel company for Black women to vacation with a purpose in Africa. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe this. Like this video, share, and also subscribe to the Black Financial channel as well. Let's get into a couple of questions. If you all have any questions, please ask them in chat, and I'll make sure I ask Ashley right now. Ryan wants to know, do you use a third-party travel agent to assist you with booking of your travel?
I do. I actually, I mentioned that my grandmother was retired, and they've been very helpful in supporting the business. So she actually is our preferred travel agent.
All right.
She went back to school and got that information, those credentials.
Okay, well, this is actually another lead into that question. McLeod International, I think that's what it is. If you are you open to using other third-party travel advisors? And if so, do you have any requirements? How can agents work with your company if they're independent, et cetera?
Yeah, sure. We're always open to opportunities and collaborations. All you need to do is just shoot me an email. I think the best way to get in contact with me is just my personal website, because you can see all of the different things that I'm involved in. And so that's ashleyincompany.com. You'll easily be able to contact me, or you can just simply go to info@jelaniwomen.org and it'll get right to me.
All right. And what are the other ways that people can follow your business online?
Yeah, so we'd love for you to follow us on Instagram at Jelani Women Travel. Want to follow me personally? It's at Jelani, or sorry, look, now I'm calling myself Jelani. It's at Ashley in Company, and then the little underscore. And we do have a thriving Facebook group specifically for Black women, and it's called Jelani Women Travel. So if you just put Jelani Women Travel in the Facebook search, we should pop right up, and you can request to join, and we'd be happy to have you. And that's where you can get all of the insight information about what's coming up next and sales and deals. You can also sign up for our email list at bit.ly/celebrate-blackness. So.
Perfect. And yeah, that's great. And to close out all interviews, been doing something new for the people who've been watching my interviews the last week or two. They know I ask a few questions to end rapid fire, and I just want to know what you think about the following.
Okay.
All right, number one, what is your favorite business book of all time?
My favorite business book of all time. Let's go with Traffic, Sales, and Profit by Lamar Tyler.
Oh, okay. Yeah, everybody loves Lamar. Everybody loves Lamar. That's the homie. So shout out to Lamar changing the game. I think there was an article that just came out that, the mastermind together we did about $49 million in sales in the year 2019. So Lamar's doing some great things on that particular front. And Rodney, of course, too.
Mhm.
Number two, are there any, maybe it's the same, maybe it's different. Are there any CEOs or companies or businesses that you're following right now that you're trying to gain insights from?
Yeah, one of the companies that I just admire out of this world. And we're so closely aligned. I love learning from them. They've been in business for over 15 years, I think 17 years now, is AfricanAncestry.com. They are leaders in this space, and the technology that they have to be able to open up people's minds and help them connect to who they are has been phenomenal. And I love that they're able to do it through science, and we're able to do it through physically giving you an experience in Africa.
Shout out to Gina Page at African Ancestry. Yeah, so shout out to Gina. Hello. The third question is, who's your favorite historical figure from Black history?
My favorite. I've been quoting Malcolm X a lot lately, but my favorite, I'm okay with that one. Yeah, Malcolm X.
Okay.
I really love the philosophy that Assata Shakur had as well.
All right. Number four is actually I need to read Asada's biography. I have not done that yet. It's on my short list of things to actually read.
Mm.
Number four. Oh, how many hours of sleep do you get at night?
I get 8. No matter what time I go to bed, I get 8.
I heard you on that. Yep, yep. I get 7 at night, then I take an hour nap. Well, not anymore. I have a child now, so 2-year-old, so she kind of keeps me up a little bit more. So I usually get about 7.5. But good. I'm glad you get 8 hours of sleep. And then my last question is, what advice would you give to your 20-year-old self about just life and where you are now?
20 years old. At 20 years old, I would say, girl, keep traveling. Because there was a period where I came back and I didn't need to come back. And I would have kept
Mm-hmm.
traveling.
All right, girl, keep traveling. That might be a T-shirt right there. Actually, I like that. Ashley, thank you so much for your time today. So everyone, we've been here with Ashley in company. Ashley is the CEO of Jelani Women Travel, an experience-based travel company for Black women to vacation with a purpose in Africa. They regularly visit 13 countries, including Ghana, Morocco, South Africa, Egypt, Zanzibar. And you can find out more about her at Jelani, Jelani, women.org. That's JelaniWomen.org. And today we've been talking about how she has built a 6-figure travel business by helping Black women to reimagine Africa. So before you get out of here, please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please make sure you like this video, and also, share this video as well. And Ashley, so thank you so much, and everyone, will take care, and we will talk to you later.